I'm going to bring Anna on in a minute. This is Kelly Kagans from Minneapolis, St. Paul Home and Design Magazine, and we are at day 60 of quarantine. At least that's how we are in our house. And we've been checking in every week with local designers. They've been taking us on some fun home tours around their own home, obviously. And we're so excited. This week we have Anna Hillegass, who's the founder of the Foundry Home Goods in Minneapolis. And I'm going to bring her on. I wanted to tell you a little bit. She's going to take us on a tour of her house on Nicollet Island, which I'm just fascinated by this area of Minneapolis. Let's see if I can, here we go. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions, chime in. I think she's coming up. Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Oh. Hi, how are you?
Hi. So I was just saying, Anna Hillegass is the founder of the Foundry Home Goods, and just a little bit of background. Hi, everybody. Hi, Anna. Thanks for joining. I'm going to bring Anna on in a minute. This is Kelly Kagans from Minneapolis, St. Paul Home and Design Magazine, and we are at day 60 of quarantine. At least that's how we are in our house. And we've been checking in every week with local designers. They've been taking us on some fun home tours around their own home, obviously. And we're so excited. This week we have Anna Hillegass, who's the founder of the Foundry Home Goods in Minneapolis. And I'm going to bring her on. I wanted to tell you a little bit. She's going to take us on a tour of her house on Nicollet Island, which I'm just fascinated by this area of Minneapolis. Let's see if I can, here we go. How's everybody doing? Thanks for joining us today. If you have any questions, chime in. I think she's coming up. Hi.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Oh. Hi, how are you?
Hi. So I was just saying, Anna Hillegass is the founder of the Foundry Home Goods, and just a little bit of background about you for people who I can't imagine anyone not being familiar, but you started your shop in 2012, is that right?
Yeah, in 2012, I just moved back from New York and wanted to, I worked in interior design and wanted to do something that was just a little bit more on street level, I guess, with everyone, not just a select kind of section of high-end designers. And I always had a dream of a general store type thing, or a hardware store, or
Yeah,
some
things
sort
you
of,
can use every day, right?
yeah, the everyday thing.
Well, I love, okay, and so most people know you from when you opened your shop in the North Loop in that fabulous building, and you lived upstairs in
I
like
did.
700 square feet. It was kind of small,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it wasn't very big. And that building was, my dad bought it like in the late 70s. And
Oh, wow.
so I kind of grew up in that building.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stupidly let the dogs out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
To go get the girls. Come on.
You can go get them. I'll keep.
Come on.
Anna
Yes.
also grew up on a farm that
Yes.
I think is from the 1800s. So you've always lived in sort of houses
Yeah.
full of character.
Yeah, lots of old places, and yeah, I just felt like a lot of town and country kind of history. This old farmhouse that I grew up in was the first pioneers, the first settlers of Hennepin County, and it's now actually a museum out in Medina, which is just bonkers. And then, you know, after high school, I lived in the Foundry upstairs for a while, and then went to New York, and then came back, and just always was really felt like the Foundry was my destiny.
It totally is. And I mean, it's just one of, I know you don't like hearing this, but everyone just loves your shop. It's just such a bright spot. And when you moved from, I think we decided it was 2018 when you moved to your current location. at 48th and Grand.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So you obviously, and then the building sold, and that's when you ended up on Nicollet Island?
Yeah. So we had plans to go back to the Foundry. Yeah, I talked about the Foundry building, but then there's also the Foundry, the shop. But we had plans to go back, but after my dad sold it, and there was plans to keep us there with the new owner. But then the new owner sold it again, and they weren't as friendly with the idea of us coming back, which was a big blow. You know, I still feel like I'm kind of peeling my, I don't know, personality, spirit, just like, yeah, there's just so much of myself in that building that it's, I think I was always concerned that the brand and the identity and everything was so tied to that place. But, you know, after moving into our temporary shop, you know, when we were in that skinny little aero space next door for not even a year, and then in the 40th and Grand, it's kind of shown that it's about the community. You know, it's like the Foundry family. It's Lillian and Adam and Aaron and Mark and Grant, and, you know, just everybody who's been before, and now Heather, and there's just like this crew that has so much spirit that they just kind of keep it rolling. It's not just on my shoulders, you know. It's
and it is a family. Yeah, big shout out to your staff. Everyone is so helpful, and it just gives it so much soul. It's more than a shop. It's like,
I kind of that early on I learned, you know, hiring, like with my first employee, Catherine, who now works for my mom out on the farm at Two Pony. Yeah, so she's still kind of part of the crew.
Love that.
And then Grant, who, you know, was like my first real employee, and he just kind of brought like a refinedness, and just there were these qualities about everybody that they're so unique. And even if I didn't need a new staff member, if I found the right person and they were at all available, I just snatch them up, because it's like, you can't train that, you can't teach that, and I just feel so lucky to have all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, and your shop is adorable and full of character, and your background, I'm just looking at your house. It's amazing. So tell us how you ended up there. I mean, for people who don't know, it's a 48-acre island, mainly known for Victorians.
Yeah, so it's this house actually was first built over on South 5th Street. It in 1864 or 1870, and then it was moved in the 80s to the island by a few people, and, you know, that's when the park boards, hey Rubes, let's go get a snack, come on.
Ruby, turn up, everyone.
The driver, he's right behind me. Yeah, so they moved it to the island with a bunch of other houses when the park was leasing out plots. So you could bring historic houses on or renovate if you could prove that you'd had the finances, that you could to, you know, give the houses
give it some love,
attention that they needed. So it, you know, it's two houses actually stitched together, which is wild. There's the Italianite kind of front, very symmetrical, boxy, and then in the back there's like a farmhouse, and it's just cool. It's got a lot of character.
That's perfect for you.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I love the color scheme too. Did you recently have that painted, or?
Yeah. So it was just painted last fall, and it was periwinkle and green, which is funny because periwinkle is secretly like one of my favorite colors. Like I love periwinkle. If there's something in periwinkle out in the world, I have to buy it. You know, it can be like a pair of Crocs or, you know, whatever. it's like my kryptonite. But in a house, it was a lot. It was a lot to have a periwinkle house. But
Sure.
yeah, so it's kind of gotten just more toned down. It's kind of dark gray and cream.
Is it dark gray? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The
Sorry,
door's
I'm
back.
terrible on the
Oh no, you're good. And that door's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What color would you call that? How you painted that?
It's like pumpkin-y orange, but it's due to get like an antique kind of finish on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. And the transom over the door, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So actually a friend of ours painted that, does gold gilt. Yeah.
Wow. I love it. Well, and one of the things I know about you too is, and maybe I read this in the Country Living story because your apartment was in Country Living a while ago.
Yeah.
That you like a little bit of quirk. Like we don't love a perfect house. We love the imperfection.
Yeah, I'm not quite comfortable in when I was in between the Foundry and this, I was renting in, sorry, I have to get dog treats. I didn't plan for all of these variables. I was in one of these new kind of condos down in the North Loop, just because I needed a place to, lay my head. And it was very new and it was so nice, but I felt like I was staying in a hotel room. It was really, I couldn't settle. I felt really uncomfortable. And then so finding this house, and all the squeaky floorboards and just like real weird staircases, and it's so weird. And Nicollet Island is so weird in the most beautiful, fantastic way. It
Absolutely.
It felt like home immediately. I knew, even though I had just moved to that condo and was going to take my time finding something, when I heard about this through a client, through Allison, from Allison's Cleaning, who you kind of see in the little Mini Coopers around. Yeah. So she's a good friend client. And she knew that I was, recently homeless. And so she told me about it, and I just immediately took it. I didn't really ask any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just knew
it was. I knew before, the second I heard it, because it was the only place I could imagine living after the Foundry. There's, I looked and looked, but everything felt really foreign. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you mind walking back in that hallway there and showing us from the front? It's oh sure. Oh my gosh, there's so much character. I can already
there's that turnip.
Is that turnip? How's Ruby and Turnip? How are they doing?